actually need anything funny to laugh. Hi there, friends. It's Maureen Maloney, host of My Doc Journey. I'm so glad to finally be back here, and I'm glad that you're here too. Happy 2021. It's February 8th today when I'm recording this, and I'm starting to feel recovered. Definitely wasn't feeling that way at all in January. But I don't know, I'm starting to get a bit more energy back and starting to become a bit more productive. There is something that I've heard other people saying though, and I know that a lot of people went into a major slump last year. I went into a pretty big slump. I was able to dig myself out of it for a little bit. So I was able to be somewhat productive last year. But I've heard some people talking about just completely losing all momentum and having a hard time getting back into the swing of creating things. So I'm going to talk today about some of my top productivity tips, some ways to get back in the game creativity-wise. And then, of course, first, I'm going to be updating you on what I've been up to for, I think it's been like 6 months or 7 months since my last update. Obviously, not a lot has happened in that time because I wasn't able to travel to film or anything like that. But I was able actually to get a lot of interviews with people over Zoom that, people I never would have been able to get a hold of normally. And so I am glad that I took advantage of that. I had some interviews with great people like Patricia Rain, who is the queen of vanilla. And if you're new or if you've kind of forgotten what's going on, My Doc Journey is all about my process of creating the documentary film Voice of Vanilla, which is about vanilla farmers in Madagascar. And I'm still in very early stages. I was able to go in 2019 and get some initial footage, but still really in pre-production stage. I talked to people who were working in different areas of Madagascar, different industries like chocolate or coffee, botanists that are, here in the United States, but do research in Madagascar, agro, ecologists, and I'm trying, it's like one of those words, it's like a combination of, it's like studying farmers and their interaction with the environment, all of which I will say was really, really helpful and definitely is going to inform the film in the long run. So, I have a silver lining to look at there. I took the time to watch a lot of tutorials and webinars. Fortunately, there were a lot of great videos to watch through the Sundance Collab. I've talked about that before. If you aren't signed up for that, I definitely recommend it. I joined an organization called Women in Media and had some great webinars through them. I'm trying to think of what other, there were some other kind of online fundraising classes that I did and stuff like that, just to keep myself sort of motivated. So one of the things that I was successful in doing is finding a partner on this film, a really great, what will probably end up being a co-director, co-producer, and I'll wait to reveal that. But she is a Pulitzer Prize-winning Madagascar journalist, and I'm really excited to work with her. So in all, it was disappointing to not do some more filming. It was disappointing because I had events planned for fundraising, and I really didn't accomplish any of that. I had also gotten a previous project into some film festivals, and I plan to do a lot of networking at those film festivals to hopefully find producers or other people to work with, and that just didn't happen. So that was, early in the year when I had gotten so excited about getting into these film festivals. And then when they all just some of them were postponed to this year, but a lot of them were put online. And I attended a few of them online, but the networking opportunities just weren't there. And so, yeah, it was pretty disappointing. But I did get some jobs, freelance jobs as camera operator and stuff. So I was able to work on some film and some TV last year. So at the end of last year, of course, when production reopened. So the year wasn't a total bust, but it was definitely challenging. Getting on to the productivity tips, especially if you are just in a total funk right now and having a hard time getting up and doing even the tiniest thing. One of my tricks, and don't make fun of me for this, is laughter. If you've never done laughter yoga and if you've never heard of it before, you're probably like, laughter what? Laughter yoga is where you laugh for no reason whatsoever, because a lot of people don't realize that you don't actually need anything funny to laugh. You can laugh for no reason whatsoever, and your body doesn't know the difference. And there's a ton of health benefits to laughing. Your body is releasing those happy hormones, endorphins, and things like that. It's good for your lungs to get more oxygen. It's really a cardiovascular workout. I will say this. When you're feeling really crappy, it is hard to laugh. And yet that's, the best time to do it. So here's my trick for if you just feel absolutely awful, if you're more on the I'm going to cry and scream spectrum. And yeah, I've been there and I have used laughter there. What I do is I start with deep breathing and haws. Ha. Ha. When I'm angry, it's usually more like a ha, that kind of a thing, but you get where I'm going. And just ha, ha, and you can start speeding up. You can do different levels. Ha, 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 ha. And don't push it. Just kind of let your body go where it needs to go. The other thing, this is another really crazy thing. People think I'm a little cuckoo when I tell them this. If you have a pen or a pencil, hold it in your mouth for a while. Because another thing that releases positive hormones into your body is smiling. And what putting a pen or pencil in your mouth does, it forces your mouth into that smiling position. Again, your body doesn't know the difference. For real, your body just doesn't know the difference. So you could be writing, typing, whatever. This is especially good to do if you're tackling a project that stresses you out. You're writing a term paper or something like that. Keep a pen in your mouth while you're writing your term paper. Yeah, it's a good trick, I promise. Related to laughter yoga is just general meditation. And laughter yoga really is a kind of meditation. You can just sit there and laugh. And in my opinion, that's a completely valid form of meditation. It doesn't have to be a difficult thing. The most important thing is this calm, deep breathing. And so if you're starting out and you're kind of this whole idea of clearing your mind of all thought, yes, that is helpful and good, but that's a challenge. Or, some people act like they, have this transcendental out-of-body experience. It doesn't have to be that. And it doesn't have to be that to be beneficial. It can be sitting calmly, quietly, and intentionally breathing slowly and deeply for 10 minutes. And doing that at least once a day. And then over time, working on clearing your mind so that, at least, I like to imagine I'm at the beach. I just imagine the waves rolling in. and that way I'm not thinking about anything stressful. I'm not worrying about work or money or any of that stuff. It's just this sort of calm, whatever place is calm for you. Just imagine that you're there. Another good practice for this is creating a sanctuary. And I actually, especially if you're at home right now, it's going to be really important to distinguish certain areas, right? This area is where I'm calm and I'm meditating. This area is where I'm working and I'm productive. And try moving around elements to make it like a special space that you do those things. Maybe you can create some barriers just with plywood or something like that, and, paint soothing colors on them to create a separate space for you. It makes a bigger difference than I expected it to make, a much bigger difference. Okay, somebody suggested this to me once, and it's been huge. I used to, when I had to do a task, say editing a video, I used to just put that on my planner, editing a video. It's this mass, of course, editing a video, it's many different steps and it takes a long time. And just that whole thing can be overwhelming. But when you write things down, and I recommend writing things down, I think it's really helpful. I keep a bullet journal. I think I've mentioned that before. I'm a big bullet journaler. But when I write things down, I separate everything out into the smallest chunks I can possibly do. So with editing a video, it might be ingesting the footage and then logging the footage. If it's a short video, you're probably not going to go into that kind of detail, but then I clean the footage. So I go through, I put everything on timelines, and I go through and I cut out all the crap that happens when you're moving the camera around and stuff like that. And then I sort the footage into, okay, this is the beginning, or when this specific thing is happening, or however you want to sort the footage. So these are all little chunks. And so then I can say, okay, I'm just going to sit down and sort the footage. And then by the time I get to the part where I have to actually start arranging my footage, I know the footage really well. So arranging the footage is a lot easier. But when it's just written down as edit this video, it's all mixed in there. It's all the sorting and the arranging and everything is all mixed in there. And so you're thinking about that stressful part, which is the actual arranging part. But you're thinking about it too early. If you take the small steps, once you get there, it's not that big of a deal. And that is related to my next tip, which is 20 to 30 minute work chunks. So I say, okay, I'm going to sit here and focus for 30 minutes. You can set the timer on your phone, whatever. People download special timers, but there's already a timer on your phone, so you don't have to download anything special. And then after 30 minutes, you should technically get up and take a break and walk around for 5 minutes anyway. So that's a good division of time. Okay, I'm going to sit down, I'm going to sort this footage for 30 minutes. Maybe it takes another 30 minutes after, but you do the thing for 30 minutes and then you take a little break and then you go back. And breaking down your tasks into 30 minutes makes it a lot more mentally manageable also. The final thing, and this is one of those, beating a dead horse kind of scenarios. Drink water, because I hear people say drink water all the time, and yet I still see people not drinking water. If you are feeling droopy, if you're feeling low energy, if you're having digestive problems, try drinking water. Drink a liter of water. Don't let me catch you using those throwaway plastic bottles like you bought it from the store, unless you live someplace where you absolutely cannot drink the water, in which case you should buy the big bottles. But for the most part, especially if you're here in the US, you should have a reusable water bottle, whether it be an Nalgene or a metal bottle or, some fancy whatever. Have a reusable water bottle with you all the time. That's part of being a grown-up in my opinion, if you're over the age of 15, there's no reason why you shouldn't have a reusable water bottle with you at any rate. Drink that water. That's going to change your life. Yeah, energy, better digestion, all of that kind of stuff. Oh, and a little tied to that, remember that your brain uses a lot of energy. And so if you've been sitting and working for a long time, you might need a little bit of sugar. So keep some hard candy around. Pop a little hard candy in your mouth if you're starting to wane, if you're starting to not be that productive. Or you might just need a break. So this is not about being more productive per se, but it's about being more effective. At some point, if you keep pushing yourself to work, your quality of work is going to go down. So pay attention to your body, pay attention to your mind especially. If you have the goal to push it one more hour, but you're sitting there and you know that what you're doing is crap because you're like, over it, and no amount of water or candy or getting up and walking around is going to help you, figure out something else that you can do. Maybe that's a time to go work out. Maybe that's a time to prep food for the next couple of days or something that doesn't require quality work. That's just a part of being aware of yourself and your body and being strategic. So, to recap, here are my tips for productivity. Laugh to get out of your slump. Hold that pencil in your mouth. Meditate. Create a sanctuary. Break things down into small tasks. Do 20 to 30 minute work sprints. Take 5-minute activity breaks at least once an hour. Drink lots of water. And occasionally eat some hard candy. That's that. Hopefully this helps you. Definitely reach out to me if you have any other pieces of advice that could help people. Or if you try something here and it's really helpful to you, I would love to hear about that too. So now get out there and be productive and get back into your creative practice and have a great week.